Operations and Communications Technology, specialising in information systems, with dreams of being a business analyst. I'll get back to what my actual job title is later, but I want to talk a bit about what actually looking for a job in the industry is like for a graduate. In my final year, I, like many others, took the grand leap into seek to look for a job. While there, I had similar experience to almost every other graduate on the planet when I realised that any entry-level job I need to be a graduate. With around 10 years of experience under my belt and the ability to move mountains when help. I thought this was interesting, not in a negative way. I just thought it was weird because it isn't in my experience what the tech industry really stands for. What I mean by that is that the tech industry is so fast-paced. We value information above almost everything else, moving forward, never looking back, and it's so different from every other industry. Other industries that are perhaps a bit more old hat. But I was beginning to get an idea that we weren't headed the same way. These other more old hat industries have set structures, processes, and just a general way of doing things that have worked for generations. They never stray from this, they don't need to. It works for them. These rigid structures provide results that meet the criteria that has been set out, and they work to the full expectation that they're supposed to. For example, if they're looking for someone to fill a role, they create a list of criteria for the individual. If the applicant meets this criteria, they are chosen to fill the position. Standard practice. And you're all looking at me nodding, saying, well done, you understood the process, gold star. But my point is, why can't we ask for more? Why should meeting the criteria for a role be the point where we fulfill a position? The person who meets your criteria could be a graduate. They could have 20, 30, even 40 years experience and have been proven to move mountains. Not an easy feat. But they're against moving to new processes. They lack soft skills and don't really mesh well with your current team. On paper, this person meets all your criteria. They have the technical skills, the experience, and the knowledge, and they will fill the role well. And do exactly what you need them to do right now. But what about future growth? Will this person improve this role, adapt this role to the future changes you make? Maybe. But what would have happened if you did away with the criteria? If instead of creating a list of criteria to fill a position, you created a list of potential opportunities based on this position. How do you see the growth of this position improving the business and where it could lead? What if you then selected an applicant based on, and bear with me here, the opportunities that you could provide them, rather than what they can currently provide you? With that slight adjustment in thinking, your potential for growth is now endless. The tech industry is so new and shiny and different. We're so new hat, but we're looking to employ people the same way every old hat industry does. Where they make the mistake of limiting potential growth with limiting possibilities, it just doesn't sit well with me. That doesn't sound much like the innovative, ever-changing world of tech that we all love. Present. So during my search, the seek listings that were staring back at me were a little bit different from what I expected, but I eventually found a job, or more appropriately, it found me. And it was different to what I planned on doing. Not good, not bad, just different. Like I said before, I planned on being a business analyst. I planned on going into a junior BA role where I was mentored by someone incredible and help businesses change their outlook on everything. No small feat, right? Which is not what happened. Because I was lucky. And someone decided to hire me and create my role around me, which in an entry-level job is a pretty great gig. I'm currently a sales and marketing coordinator, officially, but more of an everything type person that manages content for a large wholesaler, while also sort of looking after an online store, technically more than one, loading the content, creating the marketing material, managing social media and marketing sides of it as well. Like I said, it's a bit different from being a business analyst, but not bad for someone with 0 years experience. Throughout my career journey from my student years to now, I've gone to quite a few of these tech get-togethers, much like the rest of you, I'm guessing. there's always been a few similarities. There's the little canapes and the drinks table in the corner, but there was something that changed significantly during my transition from student to graduate. I hope you don't take this the wrong way, but people are way more interested in me now than they ever were when I was a student. When I was a student, I'd go along to these events and there always seemed like a disconnect between the students attending and the IT professionals. As in, there were quite a few times where I'd start talking to someone and then they'd ask me what I did, and when I said I was a student, they'd just walk away. Add to that the fact that I was a young woman in a room that was generally, well, you get the picture. What I've noticed is that it's actually quite hard to get into the tech industry. In tech especially, connections are crucial. Making connections and nurturing them is important, but making your first connection is really difficult. Of course, once you've got one connection, then you've got 10, 15, 20, but there was a real disconnect between the industry and the next generation, which, when you're trying to become a part of it, feels a bit like a gated community. And as a student, it's like you're staring through holes in the fence waiting to get into Willy Wonka's factory. When I became a graduate, it was different. I'd be asked about my projects, what I was currently working on, how long I'd been in the industry. It was a bit like speed dating, I guess, but I was making genuine connections and people were genuinely interested in what I had to say. It was interesting to me, that whole experience, because I felt like the industry on a whole, we're not really writing open invitations to the next generation. We're sort of letting them fend for themselves until we know if they can swim, then we're sending them a golden ticket into the factory. I just wonder, is that purposeful? Are we waiting for them to let themselves in? I think the industry doesn't even realise we're doing it. But there will come a point when the next generation will be this generation, and I don't know what that will look like. If the present and the future don't connect now, then how will we continue to grow as an industry? We're an evergreen industry with so much growth potential, but what will we choose to do with it? The truth is, I'm still figuring out what my dream career looks like in tech, but I know what my dream tech industry looks like. I hate the word inclusive, but I feel like nurturing that bond between graduate and industry and making it more inclusive is incredibly important to me, as well as enabling the growth of women in this industry, because regardless of how much those get-togethers have changed for me personally, I'm still one of the few people in the room, and I'd like to change that. I think there are so many choices we can make as IT professionals to improve the relationship between graduates and the industry. I implore you to make changes in the way you view graduates and the process of hiring new team members. Not groundbreaking or end-of-the-world type changes, just little ones to begin with, like just taking the extra time to really understanding what you're looking to achieve with the role before deciding the kind of person that can fill it. This is crucial because so often we're employing graduates into roles that aren't letting them meet their full potential. If the graduate you're employing isn't excited about their position or seeing a future in their role, then chances are they won't perform well. But if we employ graduates into junior positions where they see the potential of growth that they could have, where they know they're valued as a team member, they will do their very best to meet and even exceed your expectations. Further, when you're listing available positions, you can put an emphasis on entry-level training, not entry-level employment. Training shows that you have the intent to teach the graduate and provide potential for later rising up through future positions within the company. Having only employment suggests that there isn't the potential to move from that role. Now, I'm going to say something here that's way easier said than done, but just be honest. If the graduate doesn't meet your employment guidelines, then let them know why. They would rather have feedback and learning so they can improve for the next role they apply for. Equally, if you love the spark of a candidate but don't have a role for them right now, then let them know. For many graduates, you're the first experience they have going through the employment process. You may be the first role they send their CV to, or the first interview they've had, and take it from me, if you haven't done that before, that's really stressful. So letting them know where they can do better next time, and letting them have the ability to move into their dream role is important, even if it isn't necessarily with you. You could even go a step further and offer collaboration positions for graduates where they can learn while working on something with you that they can add to their portfolio. It works for the law, health and education industries, so why can't it work for tech? In terms of women in tech, I think that the allure of tech itself is exciting. Women seeing themselves reflected in the industry would encourage more women to come into tech and into the STEM industry in general. Our tech industry is so wide-reaching and growing so fast that there truly is a space for everyone. It doesn't matter what gender you are, where you come from. Once you make it through those gates, we're a pretty welcoming bunch, really. But to make women want to look through those gates in the first place, you have to show them what's on the other side, that there's a space for them here. These are small steps, but they're allowing that door to be opened. They're inciting change within the industry. I wholeheartedly believe that when we start making these changes and opening that door, we as an industry won't look back. We won't want to, because this change will be powerful and important, because this is the way forward, this is the next generation, and this is the future of the tech industry. Thank you.
Well, I think we're going to see a lot more of you in the future, and I was just sitting there listening to a whole bunch of it and you really had me thinking. And I go back to when I first started working, and there was the learning of the ropes, and we got put under pressure, and I know it's more of a construction industry thing, but you got sent for the skyhook, where it was really a skyhook, or the proverbial skyhook in another industry. You got tested and you got kicked around, because that's what happened to that old fart when they were a young person, by the old fart before them and the old fart before them. And I know there's a few challenges. You all out there will be like, yes, we don't give feedback because that just begins the process of an argument. No, but. And there's these things that these experienced people will be probably thinking about and will come and talk to you about later on. And I implore you to come and see Jenna throughout the rest of the evening and discuss some of those points with her, because I found them, pretty amazing. My last comment is, if we're an agile, iterative industry, leaders of that practice, then why are we still stuck in a mindset of doing things the way we've always done them when it comes to employment of the grads? Hussein spoke about the fact that we have a real skill shortage. We had a skill shortage when I was at school and my mum was in IT. My mum's now a CIO, 70 plus, still working, and the skill shortage is even bigger, and we're still complaining about it not doing anything different. So I think that that was quite an inspiring speech, and we'll hear more about that in time to come. Now,